Coming at you live from the office. That's why we're late today.
We've been through it this morning.
Yeah, trying to get this
ready.
set up. Tight room this morning. Yeah.
We're just cozy. We're just cozy.
Monday morning coffee with the CDT team.
CDT team?
No,
CDT.
Charles Davis team?
Yeah, team.
We're the team team.
Yeah. So where we left off last time, we were talking about buying land today, and because we've been talking about home sales, listing property, so we want to talk a little bit about land because we got a lot of land listings right now.
Yes, we do.
And people, it's kind of a mystic kind of thing for people trying to figure out how do they get financing. What factors to look for. What are you looking for when you're looking at a piece of land? Because a lot of times it's just dirt or it's trees. You know what I mean? What do you do? How do you go about it?
Right.
So me and Ashley were talking a little bit this morning about showing property and
Yeah.
how to do that and the most effective way to make the most amount of time, while you're out looking at land and what factors to look for. So if you want to talk about some of the things that you do, the preparation that goes into it, because really it's a lot more preparation than it is just to go out and show a house.
It really is. So when I get prepared to go and show land as opposed to a house, first of all, if it's close to home, I just go look at it by myself first, because that's an easier way to guide my clients once we get there, is for me to go put eyes on it and see if there's a trail or a cutout or a way that we can get into it. Because like Charles said, sometimes it's just trees or it's just dirt. So it's kind of hard to look at and go, what am I even looking at? And especially, there's a lot of properties that aren't necessarily marked or surveyed yet, so there aren't flags or stakes. You just kind of have to look at it and go with it. So I pull up the tax records, I look at aerials, property lines online, and I have a system on my phone that I use that can put me on a GPS wherever I am on that particular piece of property. So I definitely use that as much as I can to guide my clients through the property and where the lines are and all that sort of thing. But it is a whole lot more preparation than just going to show a house. Because a house, you're about to walk through a front door, you're going to see a kitchen, some bedrooms, a living room. So it's a lot different. With land, you don't know what you're getting
So
into.
you're evaluating the piece of property, aerial map.
Yeah.
Floodplain map.
That's right.
Topography map,
And
which is called topo a lot of times.
right. And specifically, if my client is like, hey, I'm looking to build on this piece of property, then like you said, you have to pull the floodplain and see, okay, well, how much of it is buildable? Is any of it in a floodplain? Where is it flat? Where is it really hilly? Where can a house go? And if they're looking for different things like recreation or hunting, then that's different as well, because you just have to look at different items. If you're not going to put a structure on it, then maybe it's okay for it to be a little at a floodplain.
So I would say in looking at property, let's just say the whole thing's swamp. People think, oh, well, who's going to buy that? A duck hunter.
Yeah, that's right.
So, there is a buyer for each piece of property out
That's
there.
right.
So you have to definitely evaluate the piece of property and make sure you're putting the right client with that piece of property.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like to show property. I think it's fun to go out and see what's out there and kind of, put my boots on and get hands-on with it. I enjoy
I'm so glad you like that. I was walking away with somebody yesterday in flip-flops.
Put your boots on.
I had flip-flops and shorts on. I was like, oh, this is not a good idea.
Oh, I've gone boots and shorts for sure. I keep a pair of tall boots in my car because I don't ever know what I'm about to get thrown into. Well, my tall boots were really dirty this past weekend, and I did not intentionally walk land. But I was showing a house that was on some land, and the people wanted to walk the land, and I ended up in my church clothes, knee deep in the woods, and it just, I was like, of all days that I don't have these daggum boots in my car.
Well, I think one thing that to me is important that we do is we have this fancy app that we use, Landclyde.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Because I was using that yesterday walking land with somebody because we were trying to figure out where the property lines were.
Yeah.
And I pulled that app right up and I was like, okay, I'm standing on the corner of your property right here.
Yeah.
And we were able to walk
And
it
it's not
and get a good
exact,
deal. No, but
it's within
pretty.
feet.
Yeah,
it's pretty precise.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. Even if you could, sometimes I've been on properties where I could walk out to a line or to a corner where I think it's about right on the app, and I can look around, and sometimes I'll find a stake or a flag, or
Yes.
if you just look, you might find something.
That's what we were using it for.
Yeah.
Was to find the iron pins.
Yeah.
So that we knew exactly where the property lines were. So
Mhm.
it was a great guide. So, having access to tools like that
Yeah.
makes a big difference when the realtor you're working with
Right.
knows what they're doing when it comes to land.
And that is an app that you, it's a subscription, you pay for it. So not just the average Joe has it to scoot out and see the land for themselves. So it is really nice to have somebody with those.
And I would say predominantly we're selling property to people that are building houses.
Oh, yeah,
So let's kind of stay to that path.
Okay.
So if somebody's looking to build a home on a piece of property, I mean, some of the first couple things that I evaluate for that piece of property is the slope of it. Because, I mean, you got to know, is this a basement lot?
That's
Is
right,
it elevated slab? Is the soil going to support, the septic tank? So there's a lot of things that go into that. So we're looking for at least, 2 buildable home sites. Sometimes there's just only one on the piece of property. And, I mean, you could have 10 acres and there only be one buildable home site.
Right.
So that's where you want to really get with us because we have a lot of experience doing that. I've sold a ton of land. And this will, we can evaluate that piece of property for you and get you with the right professionals that can come out and actually do the professional, the survey, the soil sample, all the things that have to be done in order for you to actually obtain the permits to move forward with the build of your house.
And if you're looking in Coweta County, I mean, we have contacts in other counties too, but we're a phone call or an email away from zoning.
There's a lot of times people call me and they start talking about a piece of property, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's on such and such road.
Right.
Like I already know the piece of property.
Yeah.
So.
But it helps too that we're connected. We know people.
Yeah.
We got to.
We know folks. Most of the time when we pick up the phone to these people, the first thing we say is, hey bro, what's up? It's not, hey, this is so-and-so, da-da-da. Like we know these people.
Yes.
Yeah, we're really
and we guide you
active
and
with them.
help you do a lot of the footwork to where it takes all this guess out of it. Because, I mean, you might do it one time in a lifetime. You might do it every 5 or 10 years. You might build a house.
Right.
But everything changes. I mean, it changes daily, all the time. There's different things that have to be done, zoning verifications, the correct people to talk to. And we know all the people at the local municipalities to get that stuff, not to get you kind of just pushed through, but
just to know who to ask the questions of.
We know what questions to ask, when to ask them, and we can evaluate the piece of property within your due diligence period. And, that way you're not wasting time with one piece if it's not going to work out for you.
And that's something too with property versus homes. You have a longer due diligence period. Typically.
Absolutely.
Because there's more steps involved, right?
Yeah, there's a lot more steps. So some people think, well, all I got to do is go look at it. It's just property. No, there's a lot that needs to. You need to consider what amount of tractor work it's going to take to do the clearing, the grading, everything that needs to be moved around. In Coweta County, you got to have a primary and a secondary septic site. So you got to make sure there's actually 2 places on that property that you can, that will support a septic tank.
And there's a lot of other guidelines in Coweta County when it comes to building in the land you're looking at.
Oh, yeah. You can only have 3 drives off of a 60-foot wide easement. I mean, these are all just the basic guidelines of it, but we've been through the ringer on a lot of these things. So,
there's minimum square footage bills, there's minimum road frontage determined, the square
setbacks.
footage, and
I mean, you have
there's
an
a lot
existing
that
house.
goes into it.
There's a key, there's a front door.
Right.
It's already built. It's there. You know the setbacks are there. I mean, you're going to have the house evaluated.
Right.
You don't have to wonder about, what's going on, where am I going to place the house? All those type things don't play into that.
I have a question. When you're buying land, I've heard in the past that it's cash only. Is that true?
Cash is king. No, it's not cash only. We do have a extensive database of lenders that's all they do is finance land. So if you guys would reach out to us, we could put you with the right folks to where you can get the financing for the land done. And we help guide you through that process as well. I mean, we could have 2 or 3 segments on just financing land, just because of the different things that go into it.
So if I want to build a house on land, I have to buy the land first and then get a loan to build my house?
Yeah, well, you can actually do that. You can do it with a construction. You can use a construction loan if you plan to go ahead and move forward that right after you buy the piece of property, or you can use a land loan, buy the piece of property, build a month from now, 10 years from now. I mean, whatever your schedule is, because a lot of people, they buy land with the anticipation of building on it one day. So what we try to do is on the front end, we get all the test and the analysis and everything done to where you're set up, ready to go when it's time for you to start building your property. Worst thing you can do is buy a piece of property, wait 4 or 5 years, go to build, and then realize all of a sudden that you can't. Something's happened here, something's changed, whatever. So we want to make sure that you're set up from day one that you can build on that piece of property.
And what if I go out and walk 25 acres with Ashley, but I really only need 7 or 8 of them? Can you do that? Can you
separate it out?
Separate it, subdivide it out?
That's kind of a loaded question.
Okay.
There's a lot. Yes. And then I will follow that up with a big, it depends. So there's a lot of tests that we will run through or scenarios, basically. We'll pencil and paper this thing, figure out what the frontage would be, see if Coweta County allows for you to do that, or just any county, to see, because it varies from county to county as to what you
Okay.
can do. Minimum lot sizes, minimum front road frontage that you have to have. I mean, there's an array of things that go into it.
Okay. But it's not necessarily not possible. It just.
That's why you need to give us a call.
If you have a question, we've probably already answered it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true.
And if not, we know the source to go to get the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody got any other questions? About
Like sums
If
up
you're out
that.
looking for a piece of recreational property, I mean, like we were talking about earlier with the example with the swamp and the duck hunter and all that, I mean, there's a lot of property out there. It's not great to buy for a future development or anything.
Yeah.
But it's great to have if you just want that elbow room.
That's right.
I mean, you might want to buy something, and we know how to evaluate and what the price per acre would be on the sale and something like that, because we've sold properties like that. We've sold properties that were future development, so we know how to get your value right on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sarah, who do we have watching? I'm just curious. I
David
think.
Monsour said, hey.
Hi, David.
Brittany Turner, Tracy Spears, and Nicole Bigby Waters.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, yes.
Just wanted to get, we actually have like a pretty good audience right now, so I was like, we need to get some shout outs. So it's nice to have people watching. I actually couldn't read that far because I'm old, and I thought that
That's not
it said.
wrong.
I thought it said one of our sellers.
She lied on her job application. That's what she's like younger.
Charles, you are a pretty man.
Who said this?
David
All
Monsour.
right.
Don't give him a bigger head. He's
It'll-
already surrounded by women. Don't
It'll be a
make-
bromance.
That's what you need. You already have one of those. Alex will be very jealous.
Yes.
Oh,
The,
goodness.
the lunch
Yeah.
episode, yeah.
Oh Lord.
Well,
Yeah.
Brittany Turner's watching
You get
from Pike County.
oh, nice.
Oh,
Pike. We've
yeah.
got some listings down in Pike
We've
County.
got some land listings in Pike County.
Yes.
Some pretty ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
we actually
pretty.
closed on one of them
Beautiful.
today.
Oh, we got a new farm coming up too. But
Yeah.
we can't talk about that one
It-
yet.
It's nice in Pike
Yeah.
County. Mhm.
Oh,
Coming
yeah.
soon.
Coming
Yeah.
soon.
We've got a couple down that way
Coming
coming
at
up.
you.
Yeah, we're trying to get some things ready
Yeah,
there.
it's-
So that
It's
one's
pretty.
Ooh.
We actually
pretty out
have, I think, 3 listings hitting the market this week. Just to give a quick pop by on that one. We've got one in Fayetteville. We've got one in West Coweta.
trying to think what
possibly.
the third one is.
No, 2 in West Coweta.
Yeah, 2 in West
Well,
Coweta.
we haven't had our meeting yet, so
Yeah,
I
so
don't
we
know.
everybody else is staring
Yeah,
blankly.
we'll have our meeting right after.
But yeah, I'm excited about one of them because it's actually an investment property, and I got to walk it the other day, and they've done amazing things to it. It looks really nice. So I'm looking forward to
Yay.
seeing that one hit the
Field
market.
trip?
Yeah,
Check it
exactly.
out.
Video.
Is it near Krispy Kreme? 'Cause that's where we like to go. You know, the field trip.
If we have to go to Fayetteville, we might as well just keep
I know,
on
just
driving
keep
around
on
and
going.
get some donuts.
I mean, if I'm driving, I
It's
might
so
take the wrong
close.
turn.
Let's go.
Well, before we go, we want to give another shout out about our fall festival
Oh, yes.
coming up.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome.
It is. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
really pumped about it.
Yeah, like
We have a lot of
I'm
good
so
donors.
pumped about it that Charles is texting me at 6:00 in the morning on a Saturday.
I told you I was scheduling the text.
So we are very excited about it
Very.
and the things that we're going to have going on and the vendors that have signed up to sponsor it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much
Yep.
to those.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
And it's given us a big opportunity to make it even bigger and grander.
So let's talk about where it's at.
Okay,
And-
so it's on the back 40 because I know
Where
That's
that
Andy's
is.
favorite saying.
That's my way of
So
saying it.
this is kind of why we did the land segment today, because we're going to have a fall festival on the back 40.
Yeah.
So,
Which is Charles's land.
Yes.
So
so it will be located off of Old Corinth Road. If you guys want to send us a comment or anything, we can give you exact directions as to where it's going to be at. We are going to open it up to the public.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be family oriented.
It's
It's going to have
bring
everybody.
your mama.
hay rides.
sister,
Yeah,
your
bring everybody.
friends,
Yep.
Bring them all.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The bounce house.
Lots of fun.
And everything's free for you guys.
Yes,
so you're
there's
not,
no cost at
yeah.
all.
Yeah,
So,
you don't have to pay for
So
anything. Our
when's it gonna
vendors are
happen?
taking care of us.
it is Saturday, October 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. Suggested ending time, depending on how much
It's
fun
not
we're
that
having.
It's not.
I
I
mean,
got forced into the hayride thing by somebody.
personally, I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to be hay riding at 10 p.m. Okay?
Hey, Ryan.
But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a big bonfire going, and
Yeah.
weenie roasts and making s'mores and
Except
doing
for
all of the
me.
fun stuff.
Yeah, so bring the family out. I mean, it's gonna be,
Yeah, it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
a lot
great
of fun.
time.
So we absolutely.
All my crazy kids will be there.
Oh,
I probably shouldn't have said that.
Lord.
You can still come. I'll put them to bed early.
And I mean, I think we'll probably have some four-legged friends running
Yeah.
around.
Oh yeah, I'm
there,
bringing
too.
taco up
Yeah,
there.
and I'm
Y'all-
bringing,
I know y'all
and
love
we'll have
taco.
copper too.
Yes.
We
I'm
can
So
telling
help
you.
occupy one another.
bring your whole family, and we'll have a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
Hi,
But yeah.
Cody and Chris. Thank you for joining us.
yes, hello, and goodbye. No. I think
Now that we've got to the
yes, I think that just about wraps us up for this week.
and guys, we're really gonna get hard and fast on this 9:30 thing.
Sure we are.
Look, let's
As
not
you can
make
tell-
We're
it
gonna be a lot more
promises.
structured.
Hold on, what time is it? It's after 11.
Well, we had to set the
o'clock.
studio up in the office.
We did, y'all. We were in the
I thought y'all
conference
liked it
room.
in
We
here.
were in here. We were
Computer wouldn't
everywhere this
cooperate.
morning.
Welcome to our life.
Nothing was cooperating, but we
Yes.
made it. Here we
Yeah,
are.
this is the office of Charles Davis team. Well, we have
We
other offices
persevered.
over there and other offices over there, but
This is the
Yeah,
this is the
this-
main headquarters.
Where the magic happens.
and,
You knew I had to say
I
that.
know. All right, you guys. Thank you so much
Yep,
for
thanks for
joining
tuning
us.
in. See you guys next Monday.